It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, yesterday I did that video and I was sharing my thoughts on Konica's financials. Went to their website, found all their documentation, did a video. And folks, I made a mistake in that video and I wanted to come on today and make sure I clarified that mistake. I know a lot of y'all think that Ray's subhuman, and how would he ever make a mistake if he's subhuman? But I do make mistakes like everybody else. And I got thousands of people watching these videos, so I want to make sure if I make a mistake, I actually come out and fix the mistake, right? So without any further ado, let's get on the Sharp Interactive board and correct that mistake. So ladies and gentlemen, it was in this slide I was talking about how Konica's 2022 plan for their year, and by the way, their 2021 year will end in March of 2022. Their aspirations were 36 billion yen in profit, operating profit. And their aspirations for their year ending in 2022, which would end in March of 2023, were to be at 55 billion yen in operating profit. And I made a comment and I said, well, how in the world are they ever going to get there? They're only at 6.2 billion profit now, 6 months into the year. That's where I made the mistake. I got to fix that really quick, folks, because I was off by a lot. So if you go back to their sheet, they're at 6.2 billion operating profit for all of their business groups. That was before the adjustments. They had to make some adjustments, right? Those adjustments were actually 7.8 billion negative, which means their operating profit is really a negative 1.5. 6.2 positive billion yen to 1.5 negative billion yen is a big mistake, and I wanted to clarify that. But then it makes me ask the question even louder, how in the world are you going to go from negative 1.5 billion yen all the way up to 36 billion yen? And then I wanted to go back a little bit. I found this chart from Gap out there, and this shows that Konica's top line revenue by quarter from 2016. The blue line is their revenue, and the gray line that goes down more than it goes up is their operating profit. And it's per quarter from 2016 all the way to where we are second quarter of 2021. Folks, you could see clearly that 30 billion yen is right here. They want to be at 36 billion yen. If you go all the way back to 2016, quarter by quarter, they were never close. The closest they ever got was fourth quarter of 2017. They were a little bit over 20 billion yen. So again, how are we going to get there? 1.5 billion negative all the way up to 36 billion positive. Not sure how that's going to possibly happen. Maybe if they got rid of all the cost of all their direct operations, that could help them a little bit, right? Folks, we'll see what happens, but I just want to make that correction because if I make a mistake, I want to come back on and clarify that mistake. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it's time for another fireplace chat. So let me get the fireplace going here, and you can't have a fireplace chat wearing a sports coat, so I need to take this off. I got to put on my fireplace chat voice too, folks. I got to lower my tempo of my voice. I can't be so excited on a fireside chat. It's supposed to be soothing. Let me put my sweater on here. I kind of feel like Mr. Rogers doing this. Maybe I should have some theme music playing in the background. And folks, I will tell you this. He wore sneakers. I do have my slippers on, which is appropriate for a fireside chat. So let's just have a little fireside chat here, folks. Because remember when I was telling you yesterday or last week on the tutorial of the fireside chat, and I said that it's a great time to talk about painful things because you got the audience mesmerized by the flames and the fire and the crackling of the wood. Today I want to talk about our service departments in the Document Imaging channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it was about 2 years ago I did a video and I called it the Retirement Apocalypse. In other words, all of our service techs are like 58, 59 years old and they're all going to retire. Now I know that there's reports that were, commissioned for like $100,000 to figure out how COVID impacted the imaging channel. And folks, they'll probably talk about, technicians were impacted by COVID, but I got to be honest with you. The retirement apocalypse was going to hit whether we had COVID or not, right? People were going to retire. They were going to go to the beach and spend time with their grandkids. One of our industry's problems that we've had for a long, long time was really recruiting younger people to come in and be our service technicians. Think about it. You got some of these technicians that are granddads. They got grandkids that are in their 20s. And their grandkids are like, oh, granddad, I'd like to do what you do. I want to be a service technician. But then they find out that their granddad has to carry this old big toolbox and all this stuff and wrenches and things. And he's like, I don't know if I want to do that. Isn't there any service jobs I can do that are more appropriate with modern times? Because the service tech's grandkids, got to lower my voice. I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes I just get excited, and I know fireside chats are supposed to be soothing. But a lot of these grandkids of our service technicians are playing with toys more sophisticated than the tools their granddads are using to fix things. And they're thinking to themselves, man, I would love to have a service job where I could wear the Google glasses. I could do some virtual reality maintenance. Gosh, I would love to be able to do some of that stuff. I mean, I'm good at that. I could sit in these really fancy chairs with some computer equipment and I could help people solve real problems. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about Care AR. I mean, think about it. Augmented reality is going to allow us to bring in younger technicians. It will, folks. These younger generations, they don't want to carry these old big toolboxes their granddads carried into accounts. I mean, my gosh, they want to see the whole world move from those big giant A3 machines down to the A4, something more easily to fix that they could help even an end user fix through an augmented reality session. These younger generation kids, they're going to be excited about that kind of technology. And folks, here's the reality. I know trying to get all this in place is going to take a year or two, right? It's not like we're going to hire a whole bunch of 25-year-olds tomorrow. We got to get a lot of things in place to be able to do this. We got to change our processes. We got to do all these things. But don't worry about your technicians leaving. Don't worry about this because our industry is so overstaffed with technicians anyway. We all know it. And if we just got rid of the overstaffing that we already have that we know is going to happen through nutrition, just let them go. Don't be so excited to go replace them right now, unless you can hire them young 25-year-olds. But don't just hire someone else that's in their 50s, you know, that wants to carry the toolbox and do service the way we were doing it in 2000. Let them go. Because here's the reality. I truly believe this. If the entire industry got rid of 15% of their technicians, they would actually get better service. Because the technicians at that point, they would have to show up and fix it right the very first time. They wouldn't have the luxury of going back to the office, stopping by McDonald's and getting a hamburger. They would have to fix the machine. They would have to make sure that they had the right part with them when they went to the customer's office. They wouldn't have time for any of that nonsense. More importantly, they'd have to account for nearly every hour they work. Now, we don't want to be tyrants out there. I mean, after all, I'm sitting here with a sweater in front of a fire. We want this to be a little bit calming for you, but we got to tell you the painful truth. And the painful truth is this. You know, our technicians don't account for more than 60% of the hours they work. They don't, folks. Look at your own industry. Look at your own business, whether you're a direct operation, whether you're a big dealer, whether you're a small dealer. The amount of time that's put against a ticket, in other words, you're going to a customer, you're at the customer, you're going from a customer. That's what you're paying your technicians to do, right? They got to travel to, they got to fix it, they got to travel back. We should expect our technicians to account for like 85% of their time that they work for you. The reality of it is most of you don't account for like 60% of your time. Can you imagine the sales teams doing that? Could you imagine? Hey, boss, I want to take off every Tuesday and every Wednesday. I'm only going to count for about 60% of the time that I'm here. Hope it all works out. I mean, that wouldn't happen, right? Dealers would be firing these people. But yet for the last 15 years of our industry's history, we've allowed technicians, we became way overstaffed. And we need to correct that. So you know what? It'll get corrected. It'll get corrected through retirement. The next phase of our industry service departments is to start looking really close at how we can change the way we do service. How we can bring in technologies that'll get younger generation people excited. And again, that's why I'm so excited about Care AR and augmented reality. Ladies and gentlemen, the Internet of Things is going to be a whole lot more than just collecting a meter and sending out some toner. The Internet of Things is going to bring your customer and you shaking hands in the intersection between that digital and physical world. And we all know this, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're sitting in front of a fire or whether you're sitting in front of a customer, status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.